Hi and welcome to the latest episode of Gio and Mr. Mystergio review Rock and Roll Wrestling Australia. I'm Gio Puglisi and I've been a wrestling fan pretty much my whole life. Before we get into it, apparently YouTube wants us to do the whole please subscribe, like stuff, so like button, subscribe button, bell notifications if you want the notifications, all that stuff, so there we go, we're done. Okay, but let's get straight into it. Joining me as always is the dark half, Mr. Mystergio. Thank you, Gio, for the usual waffle at the start of these videos. Yes, I'm Mr. Mystergio. I'm the dark half, I'm the smart half, I'm the real half, I'm the better half. Well, if you say so. So, Saturday, June 5 was the next instalment of Super 8 qualifiers, with a qualifying match as the main event. We attended with some family and friends, including my nephews, and they had a great night too. More on that later though, let's get into the card. The first match was one half of the tag team champions and current Gold Rush briefcase holder Jay Sorbet against SMS member Unsocial Jordan. Unsocial Jordan was accompanied by fellow SMS members Aaron Jake and Belle Pierce. Sorbet fought valiantly, but the numbers game was just too much for him and poor referee Stevie. Bell distracted the ref and Aaron Jake grabbed the Gold Rush briefcase and hit Sorbet with it. Jordan got the win as the oblivious ref counted the 3, but the big story was SMS then escaped with the briefcase. I'm sure the rock and roll hierarchy will do all they can to return the case so Sorbet gets his title shot when the time comes. Wah wah numbers game. You said Sorbet was one half of the tag team champions, but while SMS worked as a cohesive unit, where was Keto? I called it a few shows ago that these two are drifting apart and they're both anchors around each other's necks in the chase for singles glory. As far as the match is concerned, if the ref doesn't see it, it never happened, so I don't know what you're talking about. Possession is 9/10 of the law as well, and I'm pretty sure the terms of the Gold Rush briefcase are the holder of the briefcase has a title. And who's got the briefcase now, dummy? I enjoyed Jordan's victory and look forward to him cashing in his briefcase and winning the title, either the singles title or he might use it for the tag team titles. I don't know, but I'm sure they'll be wearing gold, rock and roll wrestling gold, in the near future. I just think Keto was focusing on his match later in the night. I'm sure Sorbito are as solid as ever. But on to the next match, the Choc Blockers, Big Fudge and Shazza McKenzie against SMS, Aaron Jake and Belle Pierce. This was an intergender tag match, meaning the guys and the girls could wrestle each other. This was a good fun match. The highlight was a big double suplex by Shazza and Fudge on SMS after Fudge got it wrong a couple of times. The match ended when Shazza hit the Shaztastic Stunner on Pierce, sending her out of the ring while Fudge hit the chokeslam on Jake and collected the pin. A win for the Choc Blockers. You can talk all you want about Fudge and Shazza, but I think they were just extremely lucky here. Okay, he puts people off their game with his shenanigans, and I think if these two teams were to clash again, we'd see a very different result. But while a loss is never a good thing, I'm sure SMS are content with their evening's haul of a shiny new briefcase with a title contract in it. A good night's work. On to the next match now, and it was Eric Fisher against Otis. Otis was without his manager tonight, Wayne the Punisher Pickford, who had the early bird special and went to bed. You and your jokes about the Punisher and his age are the only thing that's getting old here. If you achieve 1% of what the Punisher has in his life, you would have overachieved, my friend, and that's putting it mildly. You get so worked up, almost as worked up as what Otis was with my nephew. So the bully roughed him up a bit, grabbed him by the jacket, lifted him out of the chair and everything. I have to admit, though, that Otis did control a lot of this match, with Fisher working with an injured shoulder. But we've said before, Eric Fisher is destined for glory in wrestling, and he overcame Otis with a spinning fish kick and fisherman's suplex combination as he re-establishes himself in the winners list. Destined for glory? You think he's destined for glory? I think he's destined for shark bait. Yeah, he fights well, but that's 2 lucky victories I've seen him get over Otis now. You talk about glory, just getting in the ring with Otis is glory for someone like him. And as far as our nephew, well, I think every parent that has a child at these events that boos Otis should be ashamed. This is a man that deserves respect and nothing less. Former champion, current Super 8's champion, and the crown jewel in the rock and roll wrestling roster. These kids should be up on their feet applauding him. You think, given his recent results, I'd say he's closer to the servants' toilets than the crown jewels. But anyway, we then had a short intermission, and then the tradie came to the ring. He's currently recovering from injury after a vicious assault from Lucas Parker, but grabbed the microphone to tell us all about Parker assaulting the apprentice. You can see that video on the Rock and Roll Wrestling Facebook page if you scroll down a little bit. Parker is suspended, and rightfully so, but he showed up with a ticket in hand, so they couldn't keep him out, so he took up his seat at ringside. The tradie is a likeable guy and with plenty of integrity, and basically called Parker a coward. So Parker slid into the ring and a pull-apart brawl ensued, with the locker room coming to pull them all apart. It was a funny sight seeing Fisher trying to restrain Tradie with some sort of like chinlock thing, but Tradie's a big guy, and when Tradie stood up to his full height, Fisher's feet weren't even touching the ground. But this is an exciting rivalry, and I can't wait for the next chapter, and I also can't wait for Parker to get what he deserves. Parker get what he deserves? The only thing he deserves is to beat the Tradie so bad he'll question why he ever got into wrestling. Parker is the hottest thing in rock and roll wrestling right now, and the sooner he gets his hands on the Tradie, the sooner he can dispose of him and continue to wreak havoc on the entire rock and roll wrestling roster. Hashtag free Lucas Parker. After the ring was cleared, the dulcet tones of the saxophone riff of Careless Whisper echoed through the arena, and we got our first look at the Bachelor debuting here. He gave a rose to an adoring female fan and jumped into the ring. Then we heard the opening of It's My Life, and it was returning Dicko. These two popular wrestlers were in a tag team match against the Zukos, Robbie and his cousin Donnie. The Zukos came to the ring, and pre-match Robbie talked trash, telling these young up-and-comers they weren't worth his trouble being trained by Hunter Hayes and to get out of the ring. This brought Hunter out to the ring, and he stood beside the inexperienced duo. So Zuko said he would call anyone to the ring to be their tag team partner. Otis came to the ring, apparently a distant Zuko relative, in a pair of tights that were a crime against humanity, and we had a 6-man tag match. It was a good match, with the Bachelor particularly impressive in his debut, but 3 cunning rule benders in the Zukos and Otis were again too much for the referee to handle, and some sneaky low blows and a roll-up, and the Zukos were victorious. Hey! What a great victory by the Zukotis! And I'm guessing you're upset because Otis's tights probably drew more admiring female glances than the Bachelor could ever dream of. That's when they weren't staring at me, of course. Anyway, again, if the ref didn't see it, it didn't happen, and if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. It was a solid win by 3 seasoned veterans, and I look forward to many more victories for the Zukos and Otis, either individually or working together. Otis gave my nephew another shove on the way out in another lesson in respect. Hey! Otis better be careful. Yeah, my nephew is a skinny kid with glasses, but we've done some muck around stuff at home and he hits like a ton of bricks. He's one kid that Otis won't be able to bully. After that match, though, the crowd sang happy birthday to Hunter's uncle, and then it was time for our main event, a Super 8 qualifier between Captain Keto and Parker Thomas. This was a match Thomas absolutely dominated. He beat Keto up, he stretched him out, he threw him out. But one thing he obviously didn't count on was Keto's heart. Thomas threw everything he had at Keto but one little mistake, and Keto caught him with the 6 and out, a 1-2-3, and Keto moves into the Super 8 tournament. He then delivered another promo thanking the fans and promising he would win the Super 8s and then claim the title. What is going on with the referee here? You said Parker Thomas stretched out Keto. He folded him like yesterday's laundry. Several times I saw Keto shaking his head going, "No more, no more, no more." And the ref just let the match continue. It does only take a split-second error to lose a match, and Thomas will learn from that. But one thing I think everyone in attendance should have learned is that Parker Thomas is a far superior wrestler to Captain Keto. Yeah, okay, another one of your superior wrestlers that lost, Mystergio. And Keto was being asked if he quit, and he was saying, "No, you're dreaming if you actually think that he quit, you clown." Anyway, that was it for the show, and we're really looking forward to the next one, which has been announced on the Rock and Roll Wrestling Facebook page. Again, we appreciate you liking our Facebook page and YouTube channel, but what's a much better thing to do is to go and like that Rock and Roll Wrestling page, which is in the video description down below as well. Hope to see you at the next show. Cheers, everyone.